In the repair shop today, Dom and Sonnaz are in the hot seat, restoring a vintage sewing chair.
I'm really not happy with the thickness of this. It's far too wide, so I'm going to have to try and make my own. I've actually never done that before.
While Kirsten strives to faithfully preserve the character of a dog-eared piece of musical memorabilia.
Putting the features back are always a little bit tricky. It's almost like an intuition.
But first to the barn, Lesley Stockford from South Wales, with a precious labour of love, needing the woodwork expertise of Will Kirk.
Hello.
Hello. Nice to meet you both.
And you are?
Lesley, I am.
Oh, Lesley. What's in the bubble wrap?
A ship that's made out of matchsticks.
That's like, wow.
That looks amazing. I cannot believe that's made out of matchstick.
Who made this?
My dad made it around 1974, I believe.
OK. What's your dad's name?
Gerald, my father was.
Gerald.
Yes.
And why did he make this? Did he sell them or what?
No, my father was actually a car mechanic and worked in lots of car garages around my valley. He was good at fixing things and making things.
Do you remember your dad building this then?
Well, I was only 2, so I only know what my mother and my brother have said. Brother remembers collecting the matchsticks when they were out walking on the roads.
Yeah.
They collected matchsticks off the floor. My mother remembers my father having a picture that he copied it by.
Do you know the model that he made it from?
No, we've looked at chips around like the 1930s, images of them, and they are kind of the same sort of shape.
So he obviously knew what he was doing then.
Yes.
He's very good at what he was doing.
Very clever.
Sounds like a brilliant dad.
He was a lovely man. My dad died when I was 7. And he was only 35 himself. He had a heart condition that he had lived with all his life. The day before, he was fine. There was no signs that he was ill.
Right.
And then I woke up that morning and I could hear my mother shouting. So my father had passed away that morning. I remember putting the blanket over my head and not wanting to hear what was going on. We haven't got much left. We've got a couple of photos on this boat. But unfortunately, it's deteriorated and got brittle with time.
Looks like it's got quite a lot of dust on it.
Yeah, my brother kept the ship in his workshop.
Is there quite a lot of damage underneath?
There's a lot of damage underneath.
Is there? Oh.
As you can see, the bottom is completely gone.
It looks like it's hit an iceberg and then just sunk to the bottom
And
of the ocean.
died, yeah. And the handrail have gone. And there was a mast.
Yeah.
I think it was coming from you, and there was like a rope that went down it, just a simple rope. There's a little bench on the end, and I believe there was a couple dotted on the decks.
Well, shall I clear your bench? Because you've got...
Can you clear my schedule for the next 3 months, please?
Yes.
I really get so much joy out of working on something unique and a one-off, because he made that with his hand, almost a bit of his signature and his fingerprint on there. So, can't wait to get stuck in.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon, but not too soon, because there's a lot of work to be done there.
You take care now.
Thank you, bye.
OK, bye-bye.
This year in June was the 40th anniversary of my father passing away. So the ship is really important to us. My father would be delighted to think that we put it back to its original state and know that we have cared for it and want it to continue on for another 40 years.
Have you ever built something from matchsticks before?
No. Usually, Jay, you ask me if I need any materials.
Yeah.
For this, I'm going to need loads of matchsticks.
OK.
There's so much work involved in fixing this, Jay. The bottom's broken in.
It's fallen apart.
To rebuild that, it's going to be really hard.
You're looking forward to this one, aren't you?
I can't wait to see what's underneath that dust. Fingers crossed. Plain sailing. All right. I am in awe of the craftsmanship that's gone into making this. It's really hard to see exactly how much work there is here, with there being so much dust on the top. I'm going to use a sort of unorthodox approach by using a vacuum cleaner. If I put a tiny bit of cloth over the hole It would actually suck off all the dust, and any smaller bits of matchsticks that might break away would be collected in there. Right, let's see if my cloth has done the trick. Ugh. Look at that. But nothing loose. It's all been hoovered off, no more dust. But I'm going to give this another clean now with some warm water and cotton bud.
Next to arrive at the barn is Tara Laws from Norfolk, with a vintage item that connects her to a past generation of her family.
Hi.
Hi.
She's hoping Sonnaz Nooranvary and Dominic Chinea can pool the talents to restore it.
This poor thing, I can see it used to be a chair.
Yeah, it was my grandma Daphne's machinist chair. She used to use it to sit at her sewing machine and
okay.
sew.
Lovely. Yeah.
So was Grandma a seamstress then? What did she do? For a
No,
job?
she was just like a stay-at-home mum. She was really creative. My auntie and my mum told me she used to make them their, like, school dresses.
Did your grandmother teach you how to sew?
I never met my grandma. She died the same year I was born. So I was the only grandchild that never met her.
Oh, bless.
But my auntie gave me the chair because she saw, like, my connection with my grandma because I sew myself. So,
good.
yeah. It's nice because I feel like we have the same interests. So.
I spy a very nice top that you're wearing.
Yeah, thank you.
It doesn't look like it's from a high street shop or anything.
I made it out of recycled jeans.
No, you didn't.
So, yeah, I sewed it on my grandma's old sewing machine as well. So.
Were you sitting on this chair by any chance? Or?
Yes, I was.
Really? Oh.
I sat on it to sew and the whole thing just fell off. So, yeah, it was a bit of a near miss, but... My grandma, she did come from, like, humble beginnings, so any sort of new furniture she got, she really sort of looked after and cherished. So I feel like it's my sort of duty to bring it back to life again.
Absolutely. It must be lovely for your parents and the rest of your family to still see it in the family being used as it should be.
Yeah, I think because they've grown up with, like, my grandma sewing so much, they're just, like, quite supportive of me also doing it now.
Do you mind if I have a look at the seat?
Yeah.
I'm itching to see how that was. Oh, that's crazy. The metal's just completely sheared off.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the red and white.
It's really
so
cool. It
classic,
stands
isn't
out,
it?
and it is quite classic of the time. Is this going to go back into your sewing room once
Yeah,
once
I
it's
hope
ready?
so. Leave it with us. We'll do everything we can.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
It's lovely to meet you.
Oh, you too.
Thank you so much.
Take care,
Bye.
won't you? Bye. Bye.
The chair has just been used throughout our family history. I do feel like I owe it to them to sort of keep the chair going and using it for what it was originally used for.
So what are your thoughts?
I think there's quite a clear split here with the nuts and bolts of the metalwork and the two upholstered pieces.
Yep. Oh, I can take everything that I need to take to upholster, and then we can meet in the middle.
That's
afterwards.
it. There's the first piece for you.
Lovely. So, just having a quick glance at this, strip it right back to wood, take everything completely off,
Okay.
including the padding on here.
Yeah, so you're going to completely be new fabric.
Yeah, completely.
Oh, it's going to be nice. Look forward to it all coming together.
No, it's going to look great, isn't it,
Nice.
once it's
Right.
done?
Well, we better get started.
Absolutely. See you in a bit.
There we go. It's really actually inspiring hearing someone so young interested in these old crafts and interested in following the footsteps of her grandma. If I can do anything to help her continue doing that, I'm in. This really, I just need to fill up the gap, fill the hole back in, so I'll get a new, nice, solid piece of steel, cut it to just the right shape so it fits in there nicely, and then weld that in so that will be a smooth piece of metal as it was when it was new. You won't even know that I've been there.
On his workbench, Will's ready to embark on his hidden repairs to the wrecked model ship made from matchsticks, the most time-consuming of which will be the major damage to the hull.
My plan, I think, is to glue this part back on, then I'll be able to work out exactly how many pieces I'm missing, and then somehow, almost like a pyramid, layer the missing pieces back on top. I can't believe this is made out of so many matchsticks, and each one of them must have been picked up off of the roadside. This is really fragile. I'm really worried about breaking any other bits of matchstick. That's a really nice fit. I'm just going to give the super glue a little helping hand with an activator. Cures the glue instantly, and because I have so many pieces here to replace, I will need all the time that I can save. Lovely. That has now dried, and already the structure feels so much more secure. Thankfully, I don't have to start looking around the barn for used matchsticks, and I'm going to start patching up the holes with some new matchsticks. It's almost like doing microsurgery with these tweezers and with a scalpel. I don't know how many matches I'm going to need to fix this, but on the inside I can see lots of wood glue. To glue this together just with wood glue would have taken absolutely ages, and for this kind of structure it would have to be done in stages. I've now finished all the repair work to the hull. I'd like to now start working on the mast. However, it's pretty tricky because I'm now no longer working with a flat base. This would have originally had a stand, so in order for me to be able to do any of that top work, I'm going to have to make another one. I've got this really handy profile gauge here. Pop that on the end like that, push all the bits of metal downwards. You end up with a perfect profile shape. I can now take that, draw around the outside, and that will give me an exact replica for that profile. Now that's all drawn out, I'm going to cut it out in the bandsaw. That fits like an absolute dream. It almost looks like it's floating now. It's time to start working above board. I'm missing lots of small bits of detailing here. I think like a barrier that goes around the outside. I've got a good idea of what's missing. It's quite a repetitive process, but it's necessary to replace it all to make it look like it once did. That's all the railings finished now. It's nice to see the ship slowly coming together. I can start work on the mast. I've done quite a lot of research into 1930s ships, and I found something that looks quite similar to what might have been there. Having a look in the area where the original mast would have been, it's giving me a really good reference to how wide the mast would have been, and I'm going to start gluing some matchsticks together. The idea is to stick the matchsticks together almost in a staggered formation. That will give it a lot more strength. That's one new mast glued together. However, many of these 1930s ships would have had two masts. So once I've glued that first one on, I can get that second one on the back. Right, I hope these fit. Lovely. Now that looks like a ship. Right, now I'm missing quite a few chairs.
Outside are the barn's next arrivals. Steve and Joe Castle from Buckinghamshire have brought along a faithful and famous friend who's seen better days.
Hello.
Tasked with reviving his bow-wow factor is ceramics restorer Kirsten Ramsay.
Hello, hi.
Hi, Kirsten.
Welcome.
So this, I recognise this little dog. Who is he?
Well, this is Nipper, and he was the symbol of his master's voice, used by HMV and EMI over many years of selling records and gramophones.
So how come you've got Nipper? How did you get him?
I used to work for a division of EMI called EMI Tape, selling reel-to-reel and a brand new product called cassettes. You may remember.
I do remember. I've got cassettes at home.
That's right. I visited a dealership in Herne Bay,
right.
And the couple that ran that dealership were retiring. And they had been given him originally as a display piece for their window. So they offered to give me the dog because I admired it over several visits to them.
Lucky for you.
Yeah, and he's been part of our family ever since.
Gosh.
So you've had Nipper since '72?
Yes.
And then where has he lived then?
When we got married, the first house we were in was quite small.
Right.
And I'm saying, there's no room for him. And he's right, he's not going anywhere.
Right.
So it ended up at the front door.
Okay.
It was sat there,
Yeah.
and it did frighten a lot of people. So until they realised, obviously. But he doesn't bite.
He doesn't bite?
No.
So what would you like us to do to Nipper then?
He's generally looking very sad,
Yeah.
and you can see the paint is flaking away.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line, we've managed to get the hole in his forehead, and God knows how we've done that.
Yes.
Okay.
And if you could do something about his ears as well. That,
Yes.
as dog-eared is, of course, the expression you're looking for. But he's always had this leather ear here since I first acquired him.
Yeah.
And if it would be possible to get him back to his original papier mache ears.
Right.
So he was looking as original as he could.
Okay.
But what is important, I think, is to maintain his inquisitive look, because he has that look about him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's listening.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, don't worry. I won't change the character of him, but
No.
yeah, he obviously does need a little bit of TLC.
He's been with us all that time, and you know, it would be nice to see him back in his former glory.
So thank you for leaving Nipper with us, and we'll make sure we take extra special care of him, won't we?
Yeah, we will, absolutely.
our
Yes,
family
he'll
now.
be safe with me.
Right.
Great
You
pleasure.
take care now.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Nipper really represents the many number of years I worked within the music industry, and I travelled an enormous amount. And of course, he's always been there to welcome us home. Nipper's just been loved by all the family. I think he definitely needs some TLC.
What an absolutely lovely little dog. When I turn him over, I can see that he's completely hollow and incredibly light, really surprisingly light. It was really nice that Steve was very clear that he actually wanted this old leather repair removing, and what we've got is this other existing ear that I can actually use to try and help me make up this ear here. My first process with Nipper is to actually remove this flappy ear. Yeah. So that's just the old restoration. It's come away quite easily. I will get back to the ear, but I think for now I really want to concentrate on just stabilising the body, and then I can go back to giving him his character back. This area is really flaking and very fragile. The plan is to use a consolidant, which I've got here, and that's an adhesive that's in a solvent, and as the solvent evaporates, you're left with the adhesive, and that sticks the flakes in place. It shouldn't actually go onto the surface of the paint, it's literally just going underneath and re-sticking it onto the base. So this is going to be quite time-consuming. I've got quite a big area here to consolidate with a very small brush, so this is going to be quite a task.
In the outdoor workshop, Dom is preparing the vintage sewing chair's worn-out metal seat base for its patch repair, while Sonnaz concentrates on ensuring the family heirloom can comfortably go back into use.
Sometimes it's really easy to think that when you're reupholstering something that you should replace everything, but there's actually nothing wrong with this felt, and I think it'd be a really nice touch to keep as much of this padding as possible. There's one area on this side here where it's actually thinner than what it should be, so I want to even that lump out. I'm going to add another layer of padding on top of this, and I've got exactly the same material here, which is a black felt, except this is a lot thicker. So when I pull that vinyl round, it's going to give me this lovely, soft dome look. That feels pretty good. I'm going to get straight on with attaching it in the same way that it was before. Just securing this onto the wood, that is what's going to keep everything sandwiched together. And I'm loving this new red as well. It's going to really pop once it's against the white. The challenge when you're working with a shape like this is that you can still see the staples, and that's why I need to use hide them, and that basically hides them staples, and it goes on the edge here.
As Sonnaz continues to cover up the seat staples, Dom's crafting his own hidden repair, a bespoke piece of steel to fill the hole in the seat.
Oh man, perfect. Look at that, it's always a really good sign when the new repair panel fits straight in. That's going to weld up really nicely.
Now that I've come round to my finish point on this back, I'm really not happy with the thickness of this hide-em. It's far too wide for the width of this back, so I'm going to have to try and make my own. I've actually never done that before.
For a flawless hide-em, Sonnaz needs to create an even double fold in the vinyl with stitch-perfect machine sewing, while Dom has his own exacting task.
Now I've got the broken piece repaired in the seat base, I'm pretty much ready to weld the threaded rod, which is also cleaned up, nice and pristine, clean, shiny metal everywhere, which is very important. This weld is so critical, I have to get it very, very hot, basically. That's going to ensure that it's a really nice, strong weld and it's penetrated deep into the metal and the bolt. Okay, welding complete, and actually it's gone really well. All the metal was nice and clean, everything was prepped nicely, lined up. It made for a really nice, neat, strong weld. But yeah, look, That's really strong. That's not going anywhere.
Whenever I hear that sewing machine, I know you're up to some good stuff.
Yeah.
What have you been up to?
So, I've made my own hidem.
Wow. Raise the bar, ain't you? Hey? That's quite a big deal. That's going to make all the difference to Tara's chair. Good on you, man.
I'm happy bunny.
I'm more than happy. I'm as happy as a bumblebee in the summer, so well done.
Lovely.
Well
All
done.
right, thank you. Now I'm actually working on the seat base. The main difference between how I'm going to make this cover and how the original cover was made for the base is I'm actually sewing everything together. The previous base, all the layers are actually tacked onto the side of the wood. This way that I'm doing it, I'll be able to get a really nice, consistent finish and border.
Wood restorer Will's meticulous work making the matchstick ship seaworthy again is almost complete.
As a final touch, I'm going to put some rigging on the top here. I really hope that Lesley is happy with this work, and I hope that I've done Gerald's work justice.
This intricate model ship, which had deteriorated over the decades, was painstakingly built by Lesley's father, who died suddenly when she was a child. Lesley's returned, hoping that Will's managed to salvage one of her only belongings from her talented dad.
I've been thinking about the ship all the time. With my brother and my mother, it's brought back loads of memories talking to them about that time when my father was alive. Excited and nervous and butterflies in my stomach. I feel very emotional before I've even seen it, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Nice to see you again.
Nice to be back.
I'm excited. How have you found it, Will?
A pleasure to be working on.
Yeah.
Very tricky.
Really?
And I have so much respect for your dad.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We all can't wait to see how you've done it and what you've done with it, yeah.
Do you want to show her?
Shall we have a look?
Yes, please. Oh, it's beautiful, thank you. Oh, you couldn't have done a better job. It's absolutely beautiful. Can I pick it up? Let's have a look at the bottom. Oh, there's no hole. Oh, that is lovely. You've done such a lovely job, Will. And the mast is beautiful. And all the handrails on the bench. Oh, and the little ones on the top as well. It's absolutely perfect. But it looks exactly the way my father had left it. Looks exactly the same.
Even though that was a painful time, hopefully the ship will bring back those kind of happy memories of the family being together.
Yeah, it has. And the stories that have come out since have been, you know, really emotional and happy times, things that, as the years go on, you don't really talk about anymore as lives move on.
Yeah.
It was lovely to be part of the story of the ship and see and appreciate your dad's work.
Thank you very much.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Difficult.
A lot of time, a lot of glue, a lot of matchsticks.
I'm sure, Lesley, you want to get this home.
Yeah.
Well, it's yours.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'll get the door for you.
Thank you. Oh, it's amazing. It's so perfect, like as if my father had just left it like that. It's all in one piece. It's beautiful. I'm so pleased.
While one treasured item is safely homeward bound, inside the barn, Kirsten's pet project Nipper, the record shop dog, is still a work in progress.
Nipper is once again quite stable, and I'm going to make a start on filling any of the areas of loss. He's got quite a deep dent in his forehead here. Because this is the deepest section, I'm going to fill that first and let that cure. This is really just the start of the filling of Nipper. He's absolutely full of holes all over. So the plan is to work my way over his whole body with the filler and then to smooth it back, get a lovely, flat, smooth surface. Made really good progress with the body. So I think I'm going to concentrate on trying to get an ear that's going to blend in much better than this old leather piece here. So I'm going to give it a go.
To reconstruct Nipper's trademark droopy left ear, Kirsten will use Papier Mache, which, despite its French name, originated in China around 200 BC, when it was used to make helmets and masks.
I did have a bit of a papier mâché disaster a few years ago when my son was little, and I thought it would be quite fun to make a pinata for one of his birthday parties. I spent quite a number of days actually creating this thing and filling it with sweets. Sadly, at the party, it was so hard that the kids could not break into it. They were smashing it with sticks, desperate to get to the sweets. We just couldn't get into it. Right, that's probably fine. I'm going to use a piece of modelling wax and actually drape the papier mâché over that to try and recreate that drooping ear. So in some ways it's quite handy because I've actually got, although it's a rather tattered edge to the original ear, it does actually give me the dimensions of what was there before. So I can use that to work from. And that looks about the right shape. If you try and put on too much, it's just going to take forever to dry. So I'm just going to do a couple of layers, let that dry, and then build up from there. Quite nice using different materials from the ones that I normally use. It just makes a nice change.
As Kirsten presses on, in Sonnaz's corner of the barn, her bespoke work on the vinyl seat of the machinist's chair is starting to come together.
Now I've got this seat base all sewn up. As per the back, I'm keeping the original padding and I'm adding to it. I'm really pleased with the way that that's fitting. So now I need to start stapling it off and I'll work all the way around and then it's finished. Dom, I've got a surprise for you.
Sonnaz, hey!
Ba-ba!
That looks fantastic. Should we put it together now?
All right.
OK, that's looking good. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks really, really nice together. I'm loving those colours.
Right, last piece. Should we go?
Go for it, mate.
Brilliant. Well, that's it. Let's get it back inside. Well done.
Even though she never met her late grandmother, Tara shares her keen passion for dressmaking, and she's returned today, eager to get back to sewing in comfort.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done to the chair. Sewing on my sewing machine, I have thought a lot more about Grandma Daphne. Not having the chair is like, it's a little piece missing. It'd be quite nice to have it back. Hello.
Hi, Tara.
Hey, hello again.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm quite nervous, but I'm also just like looking forward to seeing what it looks like. I mean, it already looks like it's in one piece again.
It's standing.
Yeah.
That's a
Giving
good
away
start.
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Do you want to see it?
I do, yeah.
Go on, Sonnaz. Yeah.
Ready?
Oh, wow! Oh, my goodness. It's so much more vibrant than it was
good.
before. Oh, my God. Wow. It's amazing. I can't thank you enough.
It's a bit more comfortable now as well. You've got bit more padding in there.
Yeah. I can
Oh,
tell.
my goodness, it is. Oh, it's so
So would you like to
good.
sit in it?
Oh! Oh, I just love it. Oh my goodness! Oh, that is actually so much more comfy. Yeah.
I was hoping you'd say
I
that.
actually feel like the cushion as I sit down on it, whereas before it wasn't very nice. But no, this is amazing.
You look right at home on it.
Yeah,
You do.
Can't believe how cool it looks now.
But it is a cool chair. It's a
good looking chair.
A lovely thing
Yeah.
to have, particularly
Yeah.
as it's been passed down to you
Yeah.
from Grandma Daphne as well.
It's a nice little connection.
So it's going to go back in place in front of the sewing machine where it belongs.
Yes.
It's all yours. You can take it away.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it in.
Take care, won't you?
Enjoy it.
Thank
care.
you.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye, bye.
Oh, bless her.
Feels amazing to sit on this chair again. I think Grandma Daphne would be really proud that I've taken the extra step to get it restored. The whole experience of this will make me think a lot more about looking after my stuff and not being so quick to sort of chuck things out and try and fix them more.
After hours of painstaking work on the record shop display dog, Kirsten's been camouflaging her repairs by restoring his glossy coat.
Putting the features back are always a little bit tricky. You've got to get it absolutely right. You have to sort of almost warm up and get a feel for it. So that's his nose going back on now, which is really going to sort of pull all those features back together.
The final finishing touch, attaching his replacement ear.
Here goes. I'm happy with the shape. I think he retains his sort of slightly cheeky character. So there are sort of points along the journey normally when you're actually working on a piece where you're thinking, oh, is this right? Can I do it? Even though I've done this for 30 odd years. However, when you get to this stage, all that work and all that worry just drops away and it's just a real pleasure.
Nipper was a fixture in the family home of owner Steve and Joe for decades, but years of sitting faithfully by the front door had taken their toll.
I think Nipper has come more to the fore in our thoughts, and he is going to be, I think, a family heirloom going forward. And perhaps our great-great-grandchildren will look on him as being a real curiosity.
Hello, hi.
Hello.
Hi, Joe, Steve, welcome.
Hi, Kirsten.
Have you missed Nipper?
We have, yes. All of a sudden, there's nothing welcoming you at the door. It's really odd.
We've not missed his barking, though.
He's been very well behaved while he's been with me, actually. So, are you ready to see him?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Wow, that looks amazing.
He still looks old, doesn't he, if you know what I mean? He's
yes.
We were a bit worried he was going to look too sparkly.
Yes. Well, you've managed to retain that look about him that, you know, he is hearing his master's voice and he's got that puzzled look on his face. But also, of course, now the surface is not flaking away, so that's marvellous. His ears are just amazing. He's got perfect matching ears now.
It was quite an interesting journey, sort of working on Nipper, and I don't know, there seems to have been some sort of restoration that's taken place at some points. That ear, I think that's a replacement.
Right, well, last night I was talking to my daughter about Nipper, and she told me that she and her sister did a bit of a repair job on this ear. This is going back some years now. They damaged it. I had no idea till last night that that had happened.
How funny! So what do you think happened? Were they partying or...?
Who knows?
The ear that we thought was original wasn't either, so there you go.
Yeah, well, he's all yours. I don't know if you would like to take this as a memento
As
with
a
you.
souvenir?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Ha-ha, boom, boom.
Sorry. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you
It's
very
a
much.
great-
She's
it's a
lovely,
great pleasure.
Really lovely.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's great, and thanks so much for all your work. That's
It's a
marvellous.
pleasure. Bye, Nipper.
Bye. Bye. Thank
Bye,
you.
Kirsten.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Nipper looks brilliant. He's retained all his character and age, and yet he's now in perfect condition to be able to face up to future generations of ours that hopefully will love him as much as we have.